Yeah, what do you think for number one?
Number one.
Yeah, number one, we have using calling. And the calling here, as you know, means the following is explanation to something mentioned before for this part. So that is means goats lack what? Goats don't have what? Don't have bias, don't have prejudice, discrimination, or bigotry. So we test me for vocab. Bias means preference. You prefer
Mhm.
something other something else. So do we mean that goats prefer to eat or to reduce the unwanted plants or to eat everything? So the goats don't intentionally or deliberately eating everything because goats don't know what's going on. They eat only. So they don't do something intentionally or on purpose. And of course, they don't have. So because A and B the same meaning, so we can A and B wrong. Because as you know, prejudice means they prefer to do something, see, to something else.
Mhm.
They don't have.
Yeah.
Discrimination means they don't have the ability to differentiate between two things, between eating the wanted plants and the unwanted plants. That means, you see, it could be the best answer. But discrimination means to make difference. That means goats, they don't have the ability to make difference between what they are doing. Bigotry, it does not make sense because bigotry means express a strong dislike. You see, express dislike to something. But that means it does not make sense about the gods express like or dislike to something. That means D is wrong. Catch it?
Yeah.
That means we use the style of the writing to help us to know what is the meaning. Calling means find word to explain something before. So if the feeling or tone before positive, you need positive. Negative, so you need negative. That's right. For question number two, what do you think? Try.
Um, I think C.
So here C is the best answer. Yeah, they want to attract clients and potential. That is. And now, what is your answer? Let me help you for this question. Number one, in the answers we have adjectives. So you must find what does this adjective describe? What does it describe? Let's go. Explain the coexistence of various plants and butterfly species is. So your subject is gerund. That means explanation the coexistence is what? To truly understand the region's biodiversity and the forces that sustain or reduce it. This kind of explanation is very important. Why? Because he said here, such our understanding will help ecologists devise, as you know, devise, invent, create, find an appropriate plan that maximizes. So this explanation is very important. This means A is the best answer because perilous means dangerous. Okay, but here he didn't explain that explanation is dangerous. Condemn means dislike or disapprove. Okay, but he didn't mention that the ecologists or people or scientists hate or dislike this explanation. So B and C opposite to what explained. For analytical, it does not make sense that they're looking for details. See, because analytical as means refers to logic, to details, to reasoning. But they didn't mention here they're looking for reasons. Do you catch it? So that means the letter D, it is not explained. So what are we looking for? For something already explained by the author of the writing. So explanation is very important. So critical means crucial, means important, means significant to the ecologist or scientist. That's why. So we use the style of writing to help us to understand the style of test making. That's it. Do you understand now?
Yes.
Now it's your turn. Let's try together number 4. Always look at the questions first. Adjectives, what does it describe? Come on.
B.
Can be letter B, but we have a problem. What does this adjective describe exactly? It describes value. because this is a subject of this verb. What are one of these? The culture and the value of the building and its content. If you said B, so B it could be correct, but why not A? So what means in calculable? It means something you cannot calculate it. You cannot value something very important. How did you know? The explanation here look as a wealth of splendid, wonderful, and unique details has been added over the centuries. It means that the value is very important. So B, it's correct. But why not A? Number one, I told you for the Latin roots and I tried to memorize it. For the word gen here, it expresses like geniality, like from the word gentle. Okay, but it does not describe here that the value is lovely. You see, it does not make sense because it's not explained in the text, right? And the congenial sometimes it refer to something agreeable. You know, agreeable, people agree about something, people accept it, or something, for example, pleasant. Because the word, the root gen means lovely, but it does not make sense. Feel it? So A, it's about something else not mentioned in the text. What means cumbersome? Cumbersome, just something express worrying. But we don't mention that. Feel it? And the volume, it talks about volume, okay? But how can I describe the value is volume? Value, it's not object to use to have volume or not. And it doesn't explain that the value is something dangerous or concerning or express worrying. What is the technique here? We use words not related, not explained in the paragraph itself. That's why. Now let's jump to number 5. Is the question first, of course. So the main purpose. As I told you, main purpose, we need to focus on the first 2 sentences and the last 2 sentences. Let's go for it. Now let's find the wrong answers.
Okay.
Do we have any information about the difficulty of collecting accurate data? Didn't he mention that the time scientists find difficulties or any obstacles or any difficulties? He says this results a contrast, suggests that, so they explain the experiment, the purpose, the results, and there is no any information about the difficulty, so is wrong. Yes or no?
Yes.
How about letter B? What is letter B? To illustrate the problems with amassing an adequate database. So A it means the same B. You know, with amassing means collecting a lot of information about does not make sense. And it's not explained in the text that they have problems or obstacles or hindrance or any troubles. Letter C to place the results of the study in wider context of other studies. Yes, explain the results as he mentioned. To highlight the need to correct the problem of the observers. This is one it's a specific point that we must continue to expand our measurement in this part. Okay, but not all the text mentioned on this point only. If we are talking about the result of the study, what does this study find? For example, these results contrast with this study explain what. So that means B is only a specific answer, but it does not support all the passage. So letter D it is wrong. That's why we ask you for the main purpose. Feel it? Right.
Yes.
Now, I always tell you that focus on this is verbs when you read. The results contrast. The results suggest, you know, what is the purpose of the research. And do we have any comparison or contradiction in the studies or not? As he mentioned here, the researchers are not sure, but it's likely, probably, possibly related to winter mixing with deep waters. All of these ideas for the eyes of the test making. Now let's jump to the next. Always read the question, the function of the underlined. Now let's go to it. I'm going to share again. Okay. Now let's go. Remember, you should, number one, read the text very quickly because you need time to check the answers. Number one, for letter A, it is sets up. Sets up means explain, elaborate, illustrate, eliminate the description of locations presented. Let's go. It was large, lovely garden. Yes, describe it. Large and lovely. With soft green eye explanation. In the sentence that follows, here and there over the grass stood beautiful flowers, yes, like stars, and there were 12 peach, yes. Explain everything. So A could be the best answer. But wait, don't make decision until you check the answers. It establishes means here explaining a sense of contrast, opposite, contradiction with the description in the previous sentence. Okay, this is underlined. It's not opposite or contrastive to the previous content. It's So what is the contrast here? They don't find anything. He said that children used to go and play. And of course, the garden is lovely. So this is support the preface and tells why they go and play, but it's not contrast. So B is wrong. It elaborates on the previous sentence's description of the characters. Okay, it has description, but not about the characters. This one describes the garden. He said it the characters, not about they. So this is word is not supported. So C is wrong. It introduces an ominous undercurrent to the sentence that follows. The word ominous here just like negative feeling about something. Okay, but it's not describing something bad or opposite to the following. It supports the following. But that means the letter D it is wrong. That means we have some words, we'll put them in the answers to change the tone of the text. If you don't know this word, you will be in, I don't know, confusion about which exactly. But if I'm in the test and I don't know ominous, I found strong evidence for letter A. It's a description of location and it supports the following and it sets up. So letter A is the best for letter D if I am in confusion about it. It's something very important. That's why. So remember, time is the first enemy. Now we read the question first. Which choice best explain why the author most likely included the information that drugs were? So why do we add details to support something or to prove something? What's that? Let's read very quickly.
B.
So you think it's letter B? And the letter B is the best answer. Did you catch it? And the authentic, as you know, proved true, reliable, you can trust it. That is great. Now let's jump. Number 8. The question first. Support. Let me help you. Let me
B.
help. So letter B, no. Is this is one explain views are limited? He mentioned that. Or he tells more about the philosophy to understand something, mechanisms of their emotions, philosophy, by which they are brought into this perennial catastrophe, philosophy. They will be ready enough to take gigantic measures to prevent it. So, it's philosophy. You know, we are not talking about limitations in understanding or perception or something. So, letter A is the best answer. That's all. Feel it? He said support means that we need something the same content. You can imagine that the text to explain what is meant by text A. Found it? That's why. So it is letter B. But the problem, why not C? It's not the support is underlined. There are individuals of our species to whom the immediate misery is nothing. They didn't mention that the misery of others is nothing in comparison with their own advantage. Not supported here. But you ask, we need to understand. The understand already means perceive. That is, we have a lot of details to support the letter A. Did you catch it? But letter C is mentioned in text one, okay, but so we need something in text one support the underlined, not something true about text one. That's very important. So letter A is the best answer. Now let's try the next one. The question for summary. Very good job.
C.
So letter C, no. Why not to be B? Remember, summary means just like we have a lot of details about what? What is mostly explained in the text. That a merchant seller develops an argument. He explains that I disagree about something, about his poor salary. Not all the details about the poor salary. You see from the beginning. I thought I would sail about a little and see the watery to explain why he's going on this journey. It how is it I have of driving off this plane and regulating the circulation. So we have details about what? The impetus. Impetus here just like it means what is the reason for sitting out on a voyage. You feel it? So we can say this one means reason, for example. We can say what means the drive, what drives him to do something. Sometimes it means motivation. And that is right. So impetus means he tells us the reason for this award. as he mentioned at the end, sometime or other, it cherish. That makes me lovely something, makes me enjoy something. The same feelings towards the ocean with me. Education. That's why. Now let's see letter A. The reasons for embarking on his career. We don't have more details about his career or reasons behind his career. So we give you ideas not supported in the text.
Mm.
And again, he does not explain how he degenerate to have anything, and we don't have anything about his current condition now. So generate, as you know, just like explain something bad about it, or he wouldn't, or he hates something, but explain the reasons for his voyage. Something else, a sailor remances from the word remind. This means he remember the past events. Of course, we have, yes, as he said, I account, I thought. It's a way I have of. All of this means he remember past events. You feel it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why. So letter B is support. This is the proper best only for the most common vocab. Now number 10, the question first. So he wants you to find the facts about this part. Let me help you. This question tests you find true facts about something. He wants you to find definitions about this. He mentioned here the reason for that. That here refers to the previous problem. Is something called induced demand, and he used a positive phrase, a term introduced by 1960s by economists. It relates to, so it refers to induced demand. So he explains what means induced demand as a phenomenon. That if, so this explanation of it. Now I'm looking for answer match with this content. He said here, a phenomenon that is rarely taken into account when road systems are being planned. Explained or not explained it, so he said it is phenomenon. Now for letter A, an idea that contradicts widespread belief. Didn't you mention that? So I don't use my outside knowledge, something not explained. He didn't mention it contradicts or opposite to the congestion is the result of road building. So not supporting the text. He didn't mention it's a theory that understood by city planners, and it has affected their traditional solutions. Does not make sense, not supported. That's why he didn't mention a concept that can be mitigated. As you know, mitigated just like to reduce the problem of something. He didn't mention about educating consumers, or we can solve it by educating consumers. So all of these not supported. So the question test you like what is true about something. That means when I'm reading, I'm looking for what does the question need only. That's why to save time. That's it. Good job. Here Arduino illustrates the claim. You can answer until I send you a new link. No problem.